There was a time when healing did not begin in a pharmacy. It began in a garden. Long before prescriptions were printed, before pill bottles lined bathroom shelves, before television commercials listed side effects in hurried whispers, people looked to the leaves of the earth. And in the pages of Scripture, we find something remarkable. Not just stories of faith, but quiet references to plants, herbs, and leaves that were used for nourishment and restoration. In Revelation 22:2, it says, "The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations." That verse alone tells us something powerful. Healing and leaves were never strangers. Today, we are stepping into what many have begun to call God's pharmacy. Not a building of glass and neon lights, but a living apothecary rooted in soil, sunlight, and seasons. We will explore 12 ancient healing leaves mentioned in the Bible or used in biblical times, and you may be surprised to discover that some of them are still available in your local grocery store. Let us begin with the olive leaf. Most people know about olive oil, but few talk about the leaf itself. In biblical lands, the olive tree symbolized peace, endurance, and blessing. The leaf was a sign of renewal after the flood, when a dove returned to Noah carrying an olive branch. But beyond symbolism, olive leaves were traditionally brewed into teas and infusions. Modern studies suggest olive leaves contain compounds that support immune health and circulation. For those over 60, immune strength becomes more precious each year. A simple olive leaf tea, taken gently and consistently, may offer quiet support to the body. Next comes fig leaves. In the book of Genesis, fig leaves appear early in the human story. Though often remembered for covering Adam and Eve, fig trees throughout Scripture were signs of prosperity and stability. In biblical cultures, fig leaves were also used in poultices and traditional remedies. Fig leaves contain plant compounds that have been studied for supporting balanced blood sugar and skin health. Many seniors struggle with glucose control and skin thinning. It is fascinating how a tree so frequently mentioned in Scripture may still offer benefits today. Let us talk about bay leaves. While not always named directly in modern translations, bay leaves were common in ancient Middle Eastern cooking and medicine. Bay leaves were used in broths, stews, and herbal infusions. Traditionally, they were believed to support digestion and reduce discomfort after meals. As we age, digestion often becomes slower. Gentle herbs like bay leaf can stimulate digestive juices and reduce bloating. Something as simple as adding a leaf to soup can quietly improve comfort. Now consider mint. Mint grew abundantly in biblical regions. In the Gospels, mint is mentioned as a tithed herb. That tells us it was valued and cultivated carefully. Mint leaves have long been used to soothe the stomach, freshen breath, and calm nausea. A warm cup of mint tea after dinner can relax the digestive tract and reduce discomfort. It is simple, affordable, and time-tested. Hyssop is another powerful leaf mentioned clearly in Scripture. In Exodus, hyssop was used during Passover. In Psalms, David wrote, "Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean." Hyssop was associated with purification. Traditionally, hyssop leaves were brewed into teas for respiratory support. As we grow older, lung capacity can decline, and seasonal illnesses become more serious. Herbs like hyssop were valued for supporting the breathing passages. Then there is coriander leaf, often known today as cilantro. In Exodus, manna was described as being like coriander seed. While the seed is mentioned directly, the plant itself was common in ancient kitchens. Coriander leaves have been used traditionally to support detoxification and digestion. They contain antioxidants and compounds that may support the body's natural cleansing processes. It is interesting how the same plant that flavored ancient meals continues to appear in modern research. Let us not forget mustard greens. Jesus spoke of the mustard seed, but mustard plants also produce nutrient-rich leaves. Mustard greens are high in vitamin K, essential for bone health. After 60, maintaining strong bones becomes critical. Fragility increases, and recovery slows. Including dark leafy greens like mustard leaves in soups or sautéed dishes can support skeletal strength. And finally, for this first part, consider palm leaves. Palm branches appear throughout Scripture as symbols of victory and peace. While often symbolic, certain palm species were used traditionally for nourishment and practical healing applications. Date palms, in particular, provided not just fruit, but parts of the plant used in traditional preparations. The environments where palms thrived were often regions of longevity and resilience. When we step back and observe these leaves, olive, fig, bay, mint, hyssop, coriander, mustard, and palm, a pattern emerges. They were not rare. They were not mysterious. They were woven into daily life. They were part of cooking, worship, and healing. There was no separation between food and medicine. Perhaps the greatest lesson from God's pharmacy is this: healing often grows quietly. It does not shout. It does not promise overnight miracles. It works slowly, faithfully, like a tree putting down roots. We have only begun exploring these 12 ancient healing leaves. In the next part, we will continue uncovering more leaves mentioned in Scripture and how they may gently support the body, especially after 60. As we continue walking through God's pharmacy, it becomes clear that the Bible was written in a world where people lived close to the land. They understood seasons. They understood soil. They understood that what grew from the earth carried both nourishment and quiet restoration. The next leaves we explore are no less humble, yet no less powerful. Let us speak about aloe. While aloe is not mentioned by its modern name in every translation, it appears in Scripture, in burial preparations and perfumes. In the Gospel of John, aloe is listed among the spices brought for burial. Aloe plants thrive in dry climates, much like the biblical lands. The gel from aloe leaves has long been used to soothe skin, calm irritation, and support gentle healing. For aging skin that becomes thinner and more fragile over time, aloe remains one of the simplest natural supports. It cools, hydrates, and restores. It reminds us that healing can be gentle. Next, consider rue. In the Gospel of Luke, Jesus mentions rue among herbs that were carefully tithed. Rue was valued enough to be counted precisely. Traditionally, rue leaves were used in small quantities in herbal preparations. In ancient practice, they were associated with supporting digestion and overall vitality. While strong and to be used carefully, rue symbolizes something important. People in biblical times paid attention to even the smallest leaves. Nothing was overlooked. Let us move to myrtle leaves. The prophet Nehemiah instructed people to gather olive branches, pine branches, myrtle branches, and palm branches to build booths during the Feast of Tabernacles. Myrtle leaves were fragrant and evergreen. Traditionally, myrtle was used in aromatic preparations believed to support respiratory comfort. Fragrance itself has a powerful impact on the nervous system. For seniors dealing with anxiety, restlessness, or shallow breathing, aromatic leaves can bring calm. Now we turn to vine leaves. Grapevines are central throughout Scripture. "I am the vine," Jesus said. While grapes receive most attention, vine leaves were also used in traditional cooking. Even today, stuffed grape leaves remain common in Mediterranean cuisine. Vine leaves contain antioxidants and plant compounds studied for supporting circulation. Regions where grapevines flourish have long been associated with heart health and longevity. Consider also leek leaves. In the Book of Numbers, the Israelites remembered the leeks they ate in Egypt. Leeks belong to the same family as garlic and onions. Their green leaves contain sulfur compounds known to support heart and immune function. For older adults, circulation and immune resilience are essential. The gentle sweetness of leeks makes them easy to incorporate into soups and broths. Let us not overlook parsley. Though not always highlighted in sermons, parsley was common in ancient kitchens. Parsley leaves are rich in vitamin C, vitamin K, and chlorophyll. Traditionally, parsley was used to support kidney health and freshen breath. The kidneys quietly filter the blood day and night. Supporting them with hydration and mineral-rich greens becomes increasingly important with age. Then, there are sorrel leaves. In certain biblical regions, wild sorrel grew freely. Sorrel leaves are slightly sour, rich in vitamin C, and were often used in soups. Vitamin C supports immune strength and collagen production. As we age, collagen naturally declines. Supporting it through nutrient-rich plants becomes essential for skin, joints, and connective tissue. Finally, let us consider willow leaves. While willow trees are not the centerpiece of biblical narrative, they appear along rivers and waterways in Scripture. Willow bark later became the natural source of compounds similar to aspirin. Willow leaves and bark were traditionally used for soothing discomfort. It is remarkable that one of the most widely used modern pain relievers traces back to a simple tree. As we reflect on these additional leaves, aloe, rue, myrtle, vine, leek, parsley, sorrel, and willow, we see once again that God's pharmacy was never a shelf of synthetic bottles. It was a living landscape. Each leaf carried a purpose. Some soothed skin, some supported digestion, some calmed breathing, some strengthened bones, some supported the heart. But there is something deeper here. In biblical times, healing was not separated from faith. When someone drank herbal tea, they also prayed. When someone applied a poultice, they trusted. The leaf was not worshipped. The Creator was. Perhaps that is the lesson many have forgotten. We have now walked through most of the 12 ancient healing leaves mentioned in Scripture and biblical lands. In the next section, we will talk about how to use these leaves wisely, how to avoid extremes, and how to return to a balanced, peaceful approach to health after 60. When we speak of God's pharmacy, we are not speaking of magic. We are speaking of design. A design that was present long before modern laboratories, long before mass production, long before health became complicated. The leaves we have discussed, olive, fig, bay, mint, hyssop, coriander, mustard, palm, aloe, rue, myrtle, vine, leek, parsley, sorrel, willow, all share something in common. They grow quietly. They do not rush. They do not demand attention. They respond to sunlight, water, and time. And perhaps that is exactly how healing was meant to work. If you are over 60, you may feel that your body has changed in ways you did not expect. Joints may ache more in the morning. Digestion may be slower. Skin thinner. Energy more precious. But aging does not mean abandonment. It does not mean decline without hope. It means the body needs gentler support, wiser rhythms, and fewer extremes. Here is how to approach these ancient leaves with wisdom. First, begin simply. You do not need all 12 at once. Choose one or two that fit naturally into your life. Add fresh parsley to your meals. Brew a mild mint tea after dinner. Include mustard greens in a weekly soup. Small, consistent habits are far more powerful than dramatic changes that last only a week. Second, focus on nourishment before remedy. Many people today jump immediately to concentrated extracts and high-dose supplements. But biblical healing was rooted in daily life. Leaves were part of meals, part of broths, part of gatherings. The body recognizes food differently than it recognizes isolated compounds. Let leaves return to your plate before they become pills. Third, respect moderation. Scripture consistently teaches balance. Even natural plants can be misused if taken excessively. Strong herbs such as rue or hyssop should be approached gently and, when necessary, discussed with a trusted healthcare provider. Wisdom is not fear. Wisdom is thoughtful action. Fourth, remember the power of preparation. A warm broth infused with bay leaf and leek can comfort the digestive system. A simple salad with olive oil, parsley, and fresh greens can support circulation. A cup of mint tea before bed can calm the nervous system. Preparation itself becomes a ritual of care. Fifth, reconnect healing with gratitude. Before modern medicine, meals were blessed. Gratitude lowers stress hormones. Lower stress improves digestion, circulation, sleep, and immune strength. The mind and body are not separate. Peace itself is medicine. You may wonder, do these leaves truly make a difference? Not overnight, not dramatically, but faithfully. Think of a tree planted by water, as described in Psalm 1. It does not grow in a day. Its strength comes from steady nourishment. Over time, roots deepen, leaves flourish, fruit appears in season. Your body works the same way. When you nourish it gently, when you reduce processed foods, when you include more greens and herbs, when you walk in sunlight and rest deeply, something begins to shift. Inflammation quiets. Digestion steadies. Energy stabilizes. The changes may be subtle at first, but subtle does not mean insignificant. There is also something profoundly dignified about returning to simple plants after decades of complex systems. It feels grounding. It feels honest. It feels closer to how life was meant to be lived. And yet, let us be clear. Leaves are not replacements for necessary medical care. They are companions. They are supporters. They are part of a broader design that includes wisdom, faith, community, and modern knowledge used responsibly. God's pharmacy was never meant to compete with science. It was meant to remind us that the earth itself carries gifts. If you have a small garden, consider planting mint or parsley. If you do not, visit a local market. Smell the herbs, feel the leaves. Let them remind you that life continues to grow, even in later seasons. Aging is not merely decline, it is refinement. It is the narrowing of focus toward what truly matters. And often, what matters most is simple. Clean food, steady faith, gentle movement, deep rest, and connection. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Perhaps they were also for the healing of individuals, quietly, faithfully, season after season. If today's world feels overwhelming, return to something small. Brew a cup of mint tea, chop fresh parsley, add a bay leaf to your soup. Step outside into the light. Let the rhythm slow. Let nature work patiently. Let gratitude soften the heart. And remember, the same Creator who designed the trees designed you. Healing does not always come in dramatic moments. Often, it grows leaf by leaf.